So I see sleep as like the lead domino. The lead domino. Because you're a decision-making athlete.
Hey, this is Mark Dhamma, high performance coach for entrepreneurs, and in this video, I'm answering your questions about sleep. We're talking about napping, Nappacinos, your Oura Ring, your Whoop Band. We're talking about why you should never work from your bedroom, and answering questions from entrepreneurs about sleep. So this is a clip from the Quantum Mastermind I spoke at last year. Sam Ovens Quantum Mastermind. Sam Ovens is the founder of School. So if you're an entrepreneur who wants to look, feel, and perform at the best, subscribe to this channel because I'll be releasing 3 videos a week detailing exactly how you can do that so you can make more money and do it in a lot less time. Subscribe to the video. I'll see you after.
When you're tired, when you've had a lack of sleep, you've got jet lag, is your decision-making great or not so great? Probably not so great. The other day, I was traveling here for this mastermind, and the night before, I really didn't get enough sleep. And I think it's because I didn't eat enough, actually. I didn't eat enough that day. I was like quite active. I didn't eat enough. And I didn't sleep very well at all. I was like wide awake. On the way here, I flew from Vegas to LA, went through the security, got my bags, got on the plane, got here, got to the hotel on Friday night, and I realized my laptop's not in my bag. Now, I was a little sleep deprived. I don't know whether I left my laptop at the security gate and just forgot to pick it up, or it got stolen when I was at a restaurant around the corner and I went to the restroom for a minute. I stupidly didn't bring my bag and it got stolen. And I was like, first of all, not taking my bag to the restroom was a bad idea in Los Angeles. That was just a dumb thing to do. My decision-making was compromised. And I also can't remember if I left it at the airport security or not. My decision-making was compromised, okay? So sleep is like the lead domino, because if you're tired, it's really hard to eat good. It's really hard to work out and make good decisions there. It's really hard to make good decisions in business. It's really hard to be present with your family. It's really hard to focus if your sleep isn't optimal. So when I'm looking at sleep, there's 2 things I'm looking at. First is I'm looking at the duration, sleep duration, and then I'm looking at sleep quality. Duration and quality. That's why Oura Ring is great, because Oura Ring will tell you your duration and quality. And I've tried other things. There's a Whoop Band and some other stuff that I've tried with clients. I prefer the Oura Ring. Why do I prefer it? I like the data, how it's presented, and apparently it's got better sleep tracking than any of the ones. So you want to look at your sleep duration and sleep quality. I'll touch on the main problem I see with entrepreneurs a couple of main problems with sleep, and then we'll move on to the next. The first problem is like Sam, not having a set time to go to sleep and a set time to wake up. That's usually the biggest problem. If it fluctuates, your body really doesn't like that. The body likes to go to sleep at the same time every night. And you got to remember that before we had artificial lights, when the sun goes down, that was our cue to sleep. Okay, when the sun goes down, we have a fire. A fire doesn't have as much blue light as these artificial lights. The blue light is stimulating what wakes us up. So when the fire was there, it's like, all right, if anyone's been camping, you get tired pretty quick. Yeah, you want to go to sleep pretty quick because there's just not all this stimulating blue light. So having the same sleep time and then duration, main thing to remember is that the time you go to bed and the time you wake up, if you go to bed at 11 and wake up at 7, you didn't get 8 hours of sleep. You was in bed at 11, you got up at 7, you didn't have 8 hours of sleep. Within that time, it took you a while to get to sleep. You might have woken up a few times during the night. By going to bed for 8 hours, you don't get 8 hours of sleep. That's a mistake I was making for a long time until I got the Oura Ring. I was getting 8 hours. I thought I was getting 8 hours of sleep, but I was still tired. Okay, if you get 8 hours in bed, that's not 8 hours of sleep time. So that's one thing to. So it's usually between about 7 to 9 hours. that people feel good. Every now and again, I get people like, oh, I only need 6, but that's like such a rare occurrence. And in my experience, there's usually other issues going on there that they just can't sleep very good. But it's usually 7 till 9. The way to like really know for you is go to bed at, say, 10 p.m. for a week or 2 and don't set an alarm and see when you wake up naturally. That gives you a good idea of what you're supposed to. The problem is we're so disrupted by alarms and artificial lights that we actually don't know what sleep we need. So ideally, your bedtime is about a couple of hours after the sun goes down, if we're going to be ideal about it. So a bedtime, an ideal bedtime is around like 9 p.m. 9 or 10 p.m. Because if you're going to bed at 9 or 10, I know, I'm not, and I'm just saying ideal. I'm not saying this is what I'm just saying ideal is about 9 or 10. Because if you get to bed at 9, maybe fall asleep at 9:30, 9:45, sun might be getting up around 6, 6:30, 7. Like, you've got plenty of sleep.
I cannot sleep before 2 a.m. It's weird.
You can't sleep.
Yeah, it's from
You can't
10
sleep before 2
I
a.m.
can't. 10 p.m. to 2 is when the most creative, and I just don't want to let it go.
Sounds like Sam. That's what Sam was
Oh,
like.
okay.
Like
And then 2 a.m. I sleep all the way until 10.
I
and
used to go to
can't-
sleep at 4 or 5 a.m. And I swore I couldn't do any sleep. I couldn't do any work until basically New York was asleep. But then I just changed it, and then it's all just habit. Like now I made it work in the day. Yeah, it's just that's what you're used to. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to piggyback on this. So a big part of what we did for a while was like we realized to get high-performance coaching. So when we came into a person's team and just fixed their sleep, exactly what you said, go to bed at 9 to 10, don't set your alarm. It took 90 days and the average profit growth was 32%.
Really? 30% profit growth.
90 days.
Have a drink of wine before going to for
Negatively impact
Everybody.
your, if you track your sleep at all, have one drink before your heart rate will increase throughout the night, which is like an indicator that you're just not fully rested because of it. So your heart rate will increase. You'll see that your REM sleep will be all off. Your deep sleep will be off. And you probably felt it. Like if I don't drink much, but if I have a glass of wine and then I go to sleep, I'm usually a little groggy in the morning. Yes, it negatively affects it. Yeah. My general recommendations for caffeine in terms of sleep is no caffeine after 2 p.m. Generally. Yes. 10 p.m. You wake up at 5 a.m.
with I just be on deep. Did which
Good question. Good question.
but which 1 hour.
That's a good question. So the question is, let's say you have a set time you go to sleep. For in this instance, is you go to sleep at 10, you wake up at 5. But for one particular night, you end up going to bed later because of an event or whatever. Should you still wake up at 5 or should you sleep in? So I'll tell you what like the textbook would say, and I'll tell you how I feel. The textbook would say you should still wake up at 5 and then get a nap later on in the day. Personally, for me, I prefer to sleep in a little. Actually, sometimes if I sleep in a little bit, I feel better, but then usually my whole day's thrown off. So I probably for an entrepreneur, you should still get up at the same time and get a nap later in the day.
Like I go to 2 p.m. about 7:30, but I take a midday nap of 35 minutes.
How do you nap? There you go. Feel great. Yeah, so most athletes are napping. Most NBA stars, they're napping, and I encourage nap between 20 minutes all the way to an hour and
Um,
yeah. So an hour and a half is a full sleep cycle. So the funny thing is, if you get 3 hours sleep versus 4 hours sleep, you usually feel better after the 3 hours sleep than the 4 hours sleep because you went through 2 full sleep cycles rather than getting interrupted in one. All right, are we done? So there's a lot of interest around already.
it's his full sleep cycle.
Oh, okay.
Middle of the
Yeah, you're right.
It's 7.5. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so 8 hours. Ballpark came out for myself. For me, really, to me, feel like Superman all day. 9 hours. I get 9 hours sleep. I feel like I'm on some powerful drugs. It's just 9 hours sleep.
I find that the 8 is just the average.
8.
So I'm usually getting 7 or 9, I noticed, which was quite interesting. And the monthly is always averaging 8. Yeah.
Nappacino. That's where you have a cup of tea. I've seen it.
It's like sleep club. He gets in at midday every day. He has an espresso, sets his alarm for 20 minutes, falls asleep, and then the caffeine kicks in when he wakes because you feel amazing.
You know what? I tried it.
I tried it. It did not fucking work. It's just quiet.
How did it work out for you, Sean? How did it work?
It didn't work at all. Like waiting for sleep.
I think it's because I'm so conditioned that coffee wakes me up. So I drank the coffee and I was there can I get up and do something now? Yes, it didn't work for me. Yeah.
You have any recommendations in terms of medicine, anything
How
natural that
to
you
fall asleep?
not fall asleep?
Supplements wise?
Or
Yes. There's lots of things that can help you fall asleep. I just want to throw in a caveat. You take things to help you fall asleep. That's like a band-aid, right?
Sure.
To help you fall asleep. That's the band-aid. You're not fixing the problem. You're just putting a band-aid over it. But yeah, there's a couple of things I recommend to help fall asleep. What are the supplements? I tend to go with more herbal formulas like valerian root or valerian tea. There's that couple of sleep supplements I like. I forgot the name. If you just text me on that number, I'll figure out what list. If you're interested in sleep supplements, and I'll send it. Valerian. Melatonin is a health product. Your health account. Melatonin is produced by when the sun is down and there's not much light around. So the light from the sun is predominantly blue light, also from artificial light, also from blue light. And there's not much blue light around. That's when melatonin is the brain. Melatonin is the most powerful and we know of. I can fall protect from helps you get to sleep, protect you from cancer. If you are looking at any type of blue light, your laptop, phone, artificial light can delay melatonin or your lights on and then you go to sleep. You can still fall asleep. The problem is you're going to have less amount of melatonin running through your body. So less amount of anti-cancer hormone running through your body by the time you wake up versus if you was avoiding these blue lights and went to sleep. So melatonin helps you get to sleep faster, deeper, and also protects your body. The problem is if you start taking melatonin, exogenous melatonin, you start taking pills for it, it shuts down your own natural production. And we don't really know if there's a difference, what the difference is. I imagine your own natural production is probably more anti-cancer, more powerful than just taking it. So we don't know. So melatonin works. I do not recommend that every night. I recommend it if you're like traveling and your sleep time's off and you want to get back onto your time zone, it can help. Or if there's like you just can't sleep, there's like an emergency, you need to sleep. I don't recommend it all the time. Red light therapy, yeah. Yeah. One of the things I recommend is for all of you, for your laptop, there's an app called f.lux, which will, when the sun goes down, it will actually start stripping out the blue light. So it'll turn your screen orange. If you all got iPhones, they've got the night shift option, which will shift your phone orange. Problem with that night shift thing is because it doesn't actually strip out all the blue light. You're still getting exposed to it. And one of our friends, James Swanick, has a company called Swanick Sleep. And you can get blue light blocking glasses, which I highly recommend. They're like orange tinted glasses that you wear when the sun goes down. Blue light's a big one because it's gonna disrupt your sleep quality. Blue light. All right, shall we move on to bloating? Oh yeah, Shwen.
The true down one. So black cloth to the yellow, but like
Red or orange. Yeah, they're great true dark.
Do you ever change the light bulbs to these style?
Do I?
Like incandescent? You know how a lot of these are actually illegal in California now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they only sell LED. Yeah, these are the old school ones. I find that these are way nicer on like, I'm way more calm and they're way more warm.
Oh.
So they're more like a fire or a
Yeah.
candle, right? And if you have the white ones, I'm always on edge. And that makes it really hard for me to go to sleep. You can still buy them on Amazon, but they're illegal to buy from the store.
Interesting.
Because they're not energy efficient, apparently. But I really like these. Yeah.
My favorite at night is candles.
Yeah.
If you want to relax, there's nothing better than like just having candles around. So at my house at night, I don't know if people think it's like a red house or something because we have all these orange light bulbs. So like from outside, you see like orange from the house at night and like red lights. And people like, yeah, what's going on there? But in the bedroom, I like to have candles in the bedroom. Let's talk about bedroom a second. Because your bedroom, you really want it to be a sleep sanctuary. So one of the worst mistakes I see entrepreneurs do is work from their bedroom. Have a laptop in the bedroom, work from the bedroom. That's dangerous because our brains likes to have spaces, like to associate spaces with certain things. So like for Sam, this space is the office. I come to the office to work. You want it to be like, I go to the bedroom to sleep. Another problem with entrepreneurs is a lot of us work from home. And if we don't have a dedicated office from home, it's difficult to stay present with our families because everything reminds you of work in the home. So if you're working from your couch and then you work in the kitchen, you're working from everything is associated with work in your home. So that when you get into your home, it's harder to be present with your family and just relax because your brain is associated with work. So it's bringing in all your work ideas when you're at home. Yes.
Something about it that just really drains me. So I'm thinking maybe having an office outside, because there's something about switching. As soon as I leave the house, work mode. Come on. Have you seen?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I highly recommend office outside. Actually, I worked with one of the past Quantum Mastermind members, and he came to me saying that he was struggling to focus on work. He was like scattered. And then we dug a bit deeper, and he said like he felt a lot of like anxiety. And his wife was like really not happy in the relationship. She had a massive complaint about him not being present, and like always working on the phone. So one of the very first things we did was we made 2 rules. One rule was he had to do work in his office. So we created an office room, and like work was only allowed in that office room, nowhere else in the house. And then the second rule was no work from his phone, only on his laptop, which was in the office. Because he was in the habit of just working all the time throughout the house on his phone, and his wife didn't have a husband, and she was like she was about to leave him. And it was like within a week, his wife called me and thank you so much. Like, it's working. And he was much happier too, because he started to dissociate the work from the house to the office. One of the big things that did help though, is he recently moved to Dubai. So he was only in his office like a week. He's only in his house for a week before we could make those changes. It's difficult if you've been doing the same habit pattern for 10 years to then switch it up, because we associate things. So that's another thing about being present, just having a dedicated area for work. Yes, Pierre? Oh, really? So there's a Philips. Text me the link or something, so I have it and share it with everyone. Blue light blocking glasses.
Handles.
Here. Oh, the Kindle Reader.
Is it e-ink or is it like iPad? Yeah, those ones are good because they don't produce light. You have to have your own light. Yeah.
And guys, if you have any questions, please do text me, because it's going to help me produce YouTube videos. Honestly. All right. So sleep, focus.
Okay, so if you've made it this far into the video, it means you are an entrepreneur who wants to increase their energy, focus, and results. So subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing way better videos than this in the future. I'm just getting started. So subscribe to the channel. I promise I will over deliver with content that's going to help you increase your energy, focus, and results without the burnout. So subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.